Obama's address.
Let's go shawty. This might be my party, so if I want to, I'm passing around the block too. I know that you won't be. You've been all up on me. I like that you need me. Maybe you can give me satisfaction. I need some satisfaction. Oh, I'm attracted. Let's go shawty. This might be my party, so if I want to, I'm passing around the block too. I know that you won't be. You've been all up on me. I like that you need me. Maybe you can give me satisfaction. I need some satisfaction. Oh, I'm attracted. Let's go shawty.
What is going on? Happy Friday, Junior. Happy Thursday. I call Thursday Friday, Junior. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to see y'all here. I'm happy to see the kingdom is in the building. I'm excited. Thank you, Shankrak. I appreciate you so much. I am just hyped to be here as always. I love a good Thursday. I love sitting at the adult table with you guys. I love to be here, as you know. It's been a super, super hectic week for me. It's super hot in Florida. It's super hot everywhere, right? Because of global warming, but it's super hot in Florida. I am first generation Caribbean American. I chose my law school by law school closest to the equator. So I am a hot weather girl, not a hot girl, but a hot weather girl through and through. Okay. So I feel like I can pretty much survive in hot weather. But this week here in Miami, in South Florida, was crazy, like record heat, like just super, super hot. And I wasn't thinking about it because normally for summertime for court, we have summer dress rules. So we don't have to wear suits to court, just for regular status hearings and things like that. So I've been keeping cool, you know what I mean? But I call myself going out to lunch and eating outside with some of my friends, one of my friends who's a lawyer. And so we had lunch, late lunch, early dinner outside. So it's super hot. I'm sweating. Just normal, not anything unusual. I didn't have water because I remember that I asked for bottled water and they never brought it to me, but I wasn't too stressed. I felt the temperature, but I wasn't feeling overwhelmed. And then we get to the next place and I start to feel dizzy. I'm like, what's going on? I haven't did somebody put something in my drink in the other place? Like I'm really feeling sick and I'm sitting down and I'm trying to, get myself together. And luckily one of my friends that was there was like, this happened to me. You're overheating. So they put ice on the back of my neck and like put ice on my arms and stuff. And I started hydrating myself and just kind of relaxing and sitting down where we were, near where we were, because we were also at an outdoor location in the AC to kind of cool myself down. I in all my life of living in Florida and being in the Caribbean in the summertime, never overheated like that. So it was my first time. But definitely, I tell you guys that whole entire story to say, if you are somewhere that's particularly hot, please stay hydrated, okay? It sounds like a little thing or like a silly thing or like a stupid thing, but stay hydrated. Especially I see people from Vegas, stay hydrated. So important. So I am excited to get this show kicked off, excited to have all my adults at the adult table tonight. So much to talk to. Appreciate the kingdom in the building. I will bring your queen shortly. And I'm just, excited to do it. We talked on Court TV a little bit earlier today about the Black Swan ballerina case. I don't know if anybody caught Court TV this morning, but that is a case where a 24-year-old woman who was a ballerina, they're calling her the Black Swan, but she's white. Anyway, she met her 54-year-old husband here in Florida. I was talking about Stand Your Ground because in that case, they met at a dinner in Florida. They got married within 14 days. He's 24, she's 54. They're both legal gun owners. They both are known to carry their weapon around with them wherever they go. And then they get into something. She shoots him. There hasn't been any footage or anything like that released of it, but she is charged with murder. So she's currently today had the first day of her Stand Your Ground hearing, where she's essentially trying to establish that she shot in self-defense and that the murder charges should be thrown out. So I was discussing Stand Your Ground and talking about the origins of it and kind of a lot of the changes that's gone on with it, and just reiterating that one, you have to be in a place lawfully, and then the standard is that you had to reasonably be in imminent fear for your life, such that you're allowed to respond with deadly force or force. You don't have the duty to retreat. So that's Florida law in terms of Stand Your Ground. But it's very interesting to watch today, the first day of the hearing, that they were trying to establish kind of a context for why she may have been using self-defense, or what kind of person he was. And they talked a lot about him kicking a dog, which is absolutely horrible and probably one of the worst things you could do, abuse animals. But that was some of the stuff they were introducing today in the Stand Your Ground hearing to kind of establish this context that he is violent and not, the good guy that his family knew him as and all that stuff. So crazy case, interesting case. I will keep up with it. Court TV always has a lot of, a lot of interesting cases, a lot of stuff that you're like, what is going on in the country? Crazy, crazy stuff. There's a whole case where these two kids are getting sentenced because they killed their Spanish teacher because they got a bad grade. So it's just a lot going on in the country. A crazy, awkward kind of July 4th, because it came like after Monday in the middle of the week, but not really. And then we had to go back to work. And so it was a crazy July 4th. It was already giving weird, because I feel like as a collective, the Black people are like, we just had Juneteenth. We want to keep on them same vibes. And we was enslaved on July 4th, 1776 anyway. So what we supposed to be celebrating? But we got through that awkward ass July 4th, and we're here. We're here. Thursday Junior, amazing guests to come. Shout out to the Kingdom. Appreciate all 111 of you that are here, and we're going to keep it action packed. I want to bring in my first guest, my favorite guest, to have at the adult table. One of my favorite humans, brother in the law, brother in the culture, father, husband, lawyer, rapper, director of the Center for Anti-Racism at Temple University, the man, the myth, the legend, Timothy Welbeck.
So you're so kind. It's great to be back. I appreciate you.
What is going on? Is it hot?
Yeah, yes, it's hot.
In Philly, is it hot?
It's hot. I might take this jacket off because it is hot.
You guys, I wonder if y'all are having these record temperatures the way that we are, because woo! It's
bad. I'm glad that you're all right. I heard you said you were overheating earlier.
Because first I was like, I know I'm getting old, but come on now, guys. It's not change of life yet. It's not getting change of life. It's a little too early. Hey, Melanie. So my what the bleep person of the week, I'm pretty sure you could guess who it is. It's two people. It's two entities, rather. The first one is the LA County Sheriff's Office, because everyone was tagging me and tagging some other civil rights attorneys in this video of the LA County Sheriff's Office brutally slamming this older Black woman to the ground. The only thing that she's allegedly doing is recording that her husband is being wrongfully accused of shoplifting. So the deputy's response to her video recording is to throw her viciously onto the ground and to accuse her of resisting arrest, spray her with
Mhm.
pepper spray, and then put her in handcuffs.
My God.
So yeah,
Yeah, that video is difficult to watch,
that is.
especially because, I mean, one,
I
that
mean,
level
it
of force
doesn't get
is
more
never
excessive
necessary.
than that.
It doesn't, and as dangerous as it is, you still have a right to film the police, and I know they don't act like we do, and this is a perfect example of that, but this is inexcusable, and the video, again, is difficult to watch. There's no justification for this level of force, and it just shows the level of depravity many law enforcement have when it comes to the entitlement they have when they put the badge on.
It's crazy because the other person that's recording is another black woman, and she's like, "Don't punch a woman. Do not
Mm.
punch a woman." Because now we're all one program, which is great to always film the police, especially if you see something happening and your instincts are like, "This isn't right." Always film the police. But she is actually shouting to the police officer. Did you notice he has like a weird tattoo right under his, hey Tina, he has a tattoo like right, the officer that's arresting her has a tattoo right here. And I'm wondering, because Los
Mm,
Angeles has had tons of issues with gangs
yes.
within the sheriff's department and within the police department. I'm wondering if that's a gang affiliated tattoo.
I
um
wasn't able to see it because of how quickly it is, but I think your suspicions are
let me
right to at
see
least question that
it.
for the reasons you suggested. Oh, yeah,
But
like
they're
right
under
there.
investigation now, which is, a step in the right direction. But I don't know. I never am comfortable seeing it. Like you said, it's very uncomfortable to watch. The only reason why I'm even showing it is because I don't want people to be comfortable with it. I don't want us to become so used to seeing like black women and black people get manhandled that we just get numb to it and are like, what's, I want
Mhm.
it to every time always shock the conscience, and for us to be up in arms, and for us to stand behind these families, because this is crazy.
It is crazy, and I'm glad that you mentioned it because people have forgotten that the level of police brutality has not decreased in the pandemic. I know since the pandemic, I know our attention has shifted to other things, and I know we have some other things to talk about tonight, some
Yeah,
of which are humorous, but this level of abuse is still happening every single day. Police officers are still killing about 3 people a day in this country and brutalizing many more every day. And so it's important that we continue to speak truth to power, to call this out, and to fight these injustices.
absolutely. No, and I appreciate you saying that. And then our second entity for what the person of the week
Mhm.
is SCOTUS,
Yeah, yeah.
the Supreme Court of the United States,
Mhm.
except for who?
Ketanji Brown Jackson, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, Justice Sonia Sotomayor, and Justice Elena Kagan. Is that her first name?
Who dissented?
Yeah, who all of those who dissented. Yes.
So the Supreme, okay, so this is why I'm glad you're here, because my reading of it could be different from yours. I'm
Mhm.
reading that they're saying that the affirmative action plans that they had in place at Harvard and at
Mhm.
UNC have to end.
Mhm.
And that if any other place is going to have an affirmative action program, it has to be narrowly tailored, which in, I don't know, in lawyer speak is, it's not necessarily a ban, it's just
Mhm.
like a limitation. But I
Mhm.
know that the main headline has been affirmative action's been banned. But what's your reading of it?
I mean, ultimately, they have gutted affirmative action to the extent that they believe that they could at this moment and undid 49 years of precedent in the process. As you said, students can still signal their race, particularly in things like their admissions essay, their personal statement. If they can link the mention of their race to how it formed their character or something other substantive in their life, they can mention it there. But what the Supreme Court effectively banned in most post-secondary institutions is the consideration of race among many factors as a positive quality. And we could talk about that to various extents, but that's something that's been in place, and it's evolved over time. But since at least 1974 with Bakke versus Board of Regents, it's
Mhm.
been in place, and it went from doing away with quotas to allowing race to be considered as a factor, not the factor, which people try to pretend it is, but a factor. But interestingly enough, they said the military can still consider race. So
Okay, so we
the
can
military
still
academy still can.
consider race to go fight, lose our lives, but not
Yes,
for education.
that's basically what they're trying to tell us.
Well, that's why SCOTUS is what the bleak person of the week, what the
Yeah.
bleak entity of the week, because to
Mhm.
me, it's one of those things where, as Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, if anybody gets super bored and just wants to read what she wrote, she really let the chopper sing on this.
She did. All
Like,
29
she
pages.
did not hold back with these people. And I say that it's not like you're gonna see her like openly kind of fussing in the way that we see fussing, but in the legal world, she is cutting up on them people.
She is, and she let them know that their arguments are full of holes, that their motivations are clear, and that all of their talk of originalism and stare decisis and all these other things that they want to put forth are meaningless, and that they had a desired end, that they achieved it, and that they reverse engineered it with circular reasoning at best. But yeah, she like you said, she let the chopper sing, and I was here for all of it. I encourage everyone to read it. It is worth the time because she walks through not only the holes and the majority's opinion, but she gives almost a case study of two different applicants and what life would be like if you look back 6 generations for one family that had been admitted to UNC in some capacity, and another family, if you go back 6 generations, they were enslaved, and how
Mhm.
there are things that should be considered historically as it relates to those two families that just is no longer permissible in the way that it was.
Right. I mean, I'm happy she's up there. I wish we could get 4 more of her. And then, maybe we start to be a little more balanced at the
Yeah.
Supreme Court. But we definitely have to, as a people, keep our eye on that. Keep
Yes.
our eye on our local judges for sure. I have arguments in the comments on social media all the time with people about voting. People like, oh, if was going to do something, then we've been voting. We have not amassed the political power that we need to succeed. Okay. So we still got to keep on working on that. That's why the voting is important. So
I
let
saw
me bring my next adult in here, the much anticipated my soror, queen of keeping it real, our YT royalty, Queen Sheba. Where are you? How are you?
Yes,
Queen Sheba in the
yes,
building.
it's all things at the adult table. Can I have a
Yes.
drink at the adult table?
Listen, we grown. We
Yes.
grown.
We
Yeah.
grown.
That's
Thank
why
you
we're
for
here.
having me. Thank you.
I'm just excited for you to be here. As always, we always have good conversation. You be
Mhm.
dropping the gems. You be letting us know. You be keeping it real.
Mhm.
So I appreciate you. I just want to ask you about, because I know obviously you are a media maven on many platforms. How do you feel about this Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk about to fight on pay-per-view?
It's they're monopolizing, right?
Okay.
He who owns the land has the power.
Right.
Mhm.
So you have timberland, real estate, and then you have social media land.
Mhm.
And also, when you think about the influence of media, it's a power move, it's a power play.
For them to actually physically fight.
To what?
They're going to actually have a fight on pay-per-view.
Yeah, they're trying to get in a cage match.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
trying
no,
to fight each
I
other.
thought you meant like they were coming together to merge.
No, I mean like real fighting.
They're
They're
trying to get like a
They're not
UFC
gonna fight.
style
not
MMA.
gonna
Right.
cage.
No, ma'am. Two rich white boys, they not gonna train and fight. No, ma'am. They're gonna build up the hoopla, and somebody's going to have a family emergency and have to pull out at the last minute.
You think so?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm
If
not a
if
fan
Elon
of
knows
it,
what's good
so-
for him, he will back out. Quiet as it's kept, Zuckerberg has been doing mixed martial arts training for a few years now. He'll beat the brakes off of Elon if they actually step into a cage together.
And if they fight, Elon Musk will pay the refs off underneath the table to call it on his side.
I would
You know,
not put it
he's
past
really
him.
gonna- he's
Thank
really
you.
gonna, he think it's a joke.
They not finna fight.
Okay, so what about you know, now they got Threads versus Twitter. They do have a fight in civil court. There is a threat of a lawsuit. Twitter threatening Threads with the lawsuit.
Mhm.
Essentially the same people, because they just Instagram just released Threads, which is like the Instagram Twitter version. Twitter. So they mad at each other about that.
You know, it's I don't know why, because they've been copying us for years.
Mm.
So why you mad?
You built this thing for free.
It ain't no fun when a rabbit got the gun. So now that somebody's
Mm.
pulling you on you want to file a lawsuit. You've been taken away from us for years and calling it your own. Can we
Mhm.
pause there? I mean, we can click off. That's enough. We've given the people enough tonight.
She said we gave him enough. We gave him enough. We can lie.
Like literally, the adult table has served up.
Listen, the colonizers are over here wanting to fight each other in cage matches,
Mhm.
and they're arguing in civil court over the apps and the technology.
Girl.
Timothy, isn't there a movie like this? The two top
Yeah.
villains.
I mean,
fight
this
each
is the
other?
whole plot of social network. I mean, this is how Zuckerberg started Facebook to begin with. The idea wasn't his to begin with. He took Friendster from some of his Harvard classmates or something along those lines, and manipulated it some, embellished it
Yeah.
here and there. And so, like Queen Sheba said, this, especially in the technological world, especially in social media, there's nothing new under the sun. People are routinely borrowing ideas, and I use borrow very
We
loosely.
call it biting.
I mean, we could literally go back to The Matrix,
Yeah.
a series that a Black woman wrote, and you stole it from her
Sure.
after she pitched it,
Mm.
and you tied her up in court for a
Mm.
number of years because you didn't think she
Mhm.
had the financial capacity to
Mhm.
fight back, but God said differently. So I
Mhm.
mean, we can just go on and on, but now you're mad because somebody has gotten close to your side of the fence when you've been crossing a line for a number of years.
Mhm.
Big
We
mad.
can take it all the way back.
Very mad. I posted on July 4th that I didn't think America deserved to have a birthday party this year. And
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to be funny. I was, you know, because obviously I believe in the promise of America. That's why I'm here. That's why, you know, I'm a lawyer. So I believe in the promise of America. And I say that like rough. And as a parent, like when your kids are just wilding out and being crazy and then they ask you to buy them something, it's like, no, you don't deserve that. You know, no, you didn't give no justice for Shanquilla. Y'all got, you know, Charlicia all messed up in Chicago. Come on, Aja K. Come on, like we had to go march for a couple of days for you to go arrest the lady that shot Aja K. Owens. Like we could go on. All the victims of all the mass shootings that have already happened, and we only in July.
Only in July.
They
And you
couldn't
still body
figure out-
slamming Black women to the ground that have cancer. I mean, can we pause? Okay.
And then, but then you want a birthday party. I'm like, okay, huh? No.
She said,
what
and then
did
you
you
want
do?
to yeah,
What?
yeah.
Huh?
No cake for you.
No cake for you. Okay. A mess. Got SCOTUS messing up precedent. Which
Yes.
we're definitely going to talk about this when I have the mayor come on. Trump giving out Obama address. It's
But-
giving too
Yeah,
much.
did you see
Did they?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
And-
Okay.
In the White House? That's what they need to be giving out.
Mhm.
Okay, let me stop.
I do not condone bullying. Just like Delta Sigma Theta is a non-hazing organization, and I do not condone bullying. However, it's too much. Like, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of
Absolutely
stuff. And so we need rest. We need to recharge. If you get tired, rest, but don't quit. Like, it's a lot of stuff we got to handle. So that's why I'm super happy to welcome my next adult to the adult table. Author, conceptual artist, speaker extraordinaire, book doula, life coach, Octavia Yearwood in the building. What is up?
Hold on, Octavia.
How y'all
I'm
doing?
happy to have you here, and this is like the perfect segue to have you here because I know what a big advocate of Black people resting you are. Black people socializing. In addition to working and doing all the amazing things that you do for the culture, you are an advocate for y'all. We in the gym, we sweating, we working, we fighting for our lives. Do not forget to live.
For sure. Metaphorically on the gym part. 'Cause, you know,
Right.
I do need to make that a non-metaphorical thing, but yeah, exactly that.
I know you outside. I know you're outside.
Hey,
So I love it. You have an awesome book, which I purchased, but I didn't get to read. So I have to have you back after I read it.
yep, your book right here. I just pulled it out my mailbox, child.
Yes. How the hell did you do that? Talk to us about it and why you created it. Because when I read it, I'm going to get into it, as you know. So let's talk about it.
Well, the book, I mean, the inception of the book and why I created the book was I grew up in foster care. So I was like, how can I give something to what initially was young people to give them a blueprint? What did I need to know? What would have helped me go further in my process? I've learned everything on the fly. You know what I mean? I'm essentially self-taught and everything, self-adept. And so for me, I was like, I wanted to write something, but what made me really write the book was I wanted to be a motivational speaker. And I spoke to an elder, and an elder was like, write a book, and that's going to make you a proficient professional in whatever it is that you want to speak about. It was a cheat code. It's a hack. I mean, also the book has to be good. So
Yes.
don't forget that part. And another elder helped me really wrap my mind around how do I even write a book. And so, yeah, for me, I was just like, okay, once I got down to it and I started breaking it down, doing some mind mapping, I was like, okay, these are the things that are most important. Friends, manifestation, paying attention to your, all these different topics. And then how do I want to wrap that all into my life, but then bring the reader into the book as well. So you're not a voyeur. I think voyeurism is something that, that's why social media is what it is. Human nature, we do like to watch, we do like to observe, but when you get in action is when transformation and change really starts to happen in your life. So I wanted readers to not only read the book, and so I also put in a workbook aspect to it for them to then reflect on themselves, on what we just read in the chapter, how what's showing up in your life. Let's write some things down because that's also a part of the magic, right? They say when people want to steal your culture, they burn the books and they keep the art, right? So for me, it was let's write it down, write it down in the book. Let's make this alive. Because all of it is about, I'm not asking you to talk about things that are, I'm trying to make you visualize. You start to visualize, then you write it down. That's a part of manifestation. And then you turn around and I look back at a book that I had. It was actually a Kabbalah course that I had done where they asked you to journal and stuff. And when I went back and read that stuff, I was like, damn, all of that isn't happening right now. And so I always write about what I've experienced. I'm not selling a dream. I am speaking. I'm being a griot. I'm letting you know.
Mm. I love how you said that you went to the elders, and I feel like that's so important, and that's part of cruise season in the building. What's up? I think that going to the elders is important. I think that aside from the joke and like kind of surface reason why it's called the adult table is kind of in that kind of vein of, I personally, I'm a bridge millennial, so I don't, I'm not an elder quite yet, but I still feel like we have valuable life experiences, valuable stories, valuable lessons, and things that we can share with each other, first of all, as peers, and then with others. And then, of course, the audience and everybody can share things with us. So that's why I super appreciate the adult table, because I feel like we can kind of come together and, obviously decompress from all the craziness, but really talk to each other about the stuff that we do need to discuss, like moving forward, like manifesting, things in our lives that we want to happen. So I super appreciate you for being here. I appreciate your book. I appreciate you holding me down so that I could get the book. And I can't wait to get it. And as you know, the universe brought us together for Juneteenth, which I super appreciate you having me for your Juneteenth spectacular celebration.
It was thick in there. It was nice.
It was very nice. It was hot and it was nice. It was a vibe.
Yes.
It was very important. So I super appreciate it. It was fun times. You're an amazing hostess with the mostest, of course, but really also having the substance of the event, making sure that we were recognizing each other and talking to each other, and also stressing to each other the importance of healing in community and being with community and how important that is. So I appreciate your work as you. And I'm glad to have the four of you here, because I really want to get into this story so bad, but I want to bring in my next guest first, so that, because he is, a government official, essentially. He's the mayor of Village of El Portal, Mayor Omar Nickerson. Here he is.
How's everybody doing? Good to see you all. How
Mayor Omar in the building. Can I call you Mayor Omar, or is there another way?
Madam
King?
Esquire. Madam Esquire. You can call me whatever you want to call me. When it comes to government, all the achievements we always recognize. So, Madam Esquire, I'm just saying you can call me whatever you want to call me. So,
I can call you Dr. Mayor. Because I know you have that's a lot of school, that's a lot of studying. So I can call you Dr. Mayor.
Well, I appreciate you guys can just call me Omar. It's perfect. I appreciate it. It's all good. Either way, it doesn't
humble.
matter.
We got to keep it humble. So we have Timothy here. We got Queen Sheba. We got the Kingdom in the building. We have Dr. Mayor Omar Nickerson and Octavia Yearwood. We are shaping up. I have one more guest. It's a surprise guest. I don't know if he's there or if he's on a break, because he's been waiting a long time. We'll bring him in later. But because Mayor Omar is here, you're the mayor of the Village of El Portal.
Yes, indeed.
So you traveled the world, became educated, and then came back to the MIA, the 305.
Yeah, so I mean, born in Miami, born down here, and so I went to University of Miami. When I was about 16, I was kind of 15 going on 16, and went to University of Miami, graduated from there, and then went to Egypt and got my first master's degree, and that was in world history and geographical studies, and went over to Syria, University of Damascus, and got my second master's degree, and that was in international political science and economic development, and then got my PhD, and also went over to China and did some work over there too. So
hold on, So Dr. Mayor humbly told y'all that he went to University of Miami when he was 15, 16, and then slid over to Egypt right quick, and then slid over to Syria right quick, and then was like, you know what? No place like home.
So basically, that's how I went. Now let me say this though. Okay. With everything that you've been talking about, Madam Esquire, look, this is how you got to know it. With everything that you guys have been talking about, I mean, you hit on so many important aspects. Now, you guys know, as a mayor, you elected official, voting. You hit on the voting, right? You hit on SCOTUS and things like that. I think a lot of people need to really understand just moving forward out there for everybody who continuously talks about, oh, I'm not going to vote. It doesn't change anything. Why should I vote? It doesn't change anything. I think that we all as a people, African Americans, Caribbean, Black people, all of us Black people, all of us people of color, all of us melanated individuals, I think we need to start to adapt the mind frame of being proactive and not reactive. I think that a lot of times, I think that a lot of times, which I'm not saying, I'm not downing it. I'm not saying it's wrong. But a lot of times once something happens, we hit the streets and we march and, we make our signs and things like that. But it's too late, you guys, at that particular time, because that individual is already deceased, already been killed by the police officer. That individual's already been, run through the system and things like that. But we need to attack these things while they're being created. So we need to really, really, really look at, and I know sometimes it's hard, right? Especially nowadays, because we live in a world where everybody wants to be entertained, right? So everybody's like, glued to social media. But I think we really need to look into things that we can notice. There are simple things that we can notice. Like, for example, the election with Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people that voted for Obama twice didn't come out to vote for Hillary.
Mhm.
And then Donald Trump put in 3 Supreme Court justices. 3, not 1, not 2. He put in 3 Supreme Court justices. So now you turn around and they're doing things like, and if you guys think that, they took that little slice away from affirmative action. And I've never been in conspiracy theories. I'm all about logic. I'm all about numbers. But it starts like that, where they take a slice away here. And then about 5-6 years from now, you'll hear about another case. And there'll be something else that they take a slice away from. And then about 3 years after that, there'll be another case. And they'll take a slice away from something else. All because people allowed Donald Trump to put in 3 Supreme Court justices, because I'm not going to vote for Hillary. I voted for Obama, but hey, F Hillary. She don't make me move like Obama makes me move.
What do you think about the midterm elections? Because my struggle is always midterm elections. Like, I know that people, because those presidential elections are the most expensive, they have television ads. Well, local elections do too, but people focus on that and they're like, well, I don't like this person, as if it's a popularity contest as opposed to a fight for your life. But whatever. I don't like them, so I ain't going woo 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 woo. But midterm elections, how did we end up with the Satan in Florida?
Sister Robinson. So many people you will hear say, man, see, this is why I don't vote. Because Obama really ain't changed nothing. Obama really ain't do nothing. First of all, Obama saved us from a second depression. Great Depression.
Okay.
If people have such a small, short memory, people forget how the economy was dropping under those last months of George W. Bush. People also forget that George W. Bush got us into a war in Iraq where they did not have weapons of mass destruction. And we were spending trillions of dollars per month in that war that Obama took over. So Obama saved us from a second Great Depression. Not only that, Obama gets in, he only had that Congress majority for 2 years. To your point, Sister Robinson, because at that first midterm, after his first 2 years where he passed Obamacare, in that first midterm, he lost control of the Democratic controlled House. That was it. So then for his last 6 years, he had to deal with Republicans that wouldn't give him anything. They wouldn't put through anything for him. So then you come out of the 8 years and you have all of our people saying, see, this is why I don't vote. Under Obama ain't changed nothing.
So what?
I know. I shouldn't say it like this. But if you idiots would have just voted, the same people that voted for Obama in the presidential elections that got him elected, if y'all would have voted in the midterms, he could have had the support he needed for his entire, or at least his majority of his presidency, and then he could have passed. what you guys would have wanted him to pass.
Because the makeup of the legislature would have been different, and then Barack Obama would have been able to do a little bit more.
There you go.
So
But
what I need to know is when do we elect you, the mayors? Because I know we got one of the Central Park 5
Yes.
as a mayor.
Yusuf Salam,
Right.
he's a councilman, city councilman in Harlem.
Councilman. So we need people to understand the importance of their local elections, their local judges, their local councilmen, their school board,
That's so
their
very
mayors,
important. So very
moving up to
important.
governor.
So very important. I mean, first of all, look at the school board. Look at Governor DeSantis. I mean, need I say more? Need I say more when it comes to that? Not only if you look at the school board and look at Governor DeSantis, but also when you're talking about the local elections, let's go back really quickly. Let's go back to something that hit us all. Let's go back to something that we all had to put up with and we all felt pain from. Trayvon Martin. That whole stand your ground and the way that happened with George Zimmerman, with Trayvon Martin, that was passed through not at the national level. Stand your ground was a Florida law.
Mm-hmm.
That was passed through at the state level.
Right.
So the local elections are everything that affects you personally on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
So the things that you feel, those are the
tell them they need to take the day off, okay, and vote in their local elections.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do, Sister Robinson, is look at our history, look at our people, but not only look at our people when it came to voting rights, look at how, when something's important, when you look at how hard the opposition fights against it.
Yeah.
When they killed MLK, when they were against Malcolm X, when they were against the Freedom Riders, when they were against the Black Panthers, when they killed off all of our leaders throughout that era, why was it so important to them for us not to be able to vote? And that tells you how important it is for us to vote.
Right. No, I'm with you. I want to bring in Anthony because he's back. Here he is.
Hey, everybody, how you going?
What's going on?
What is going on? Thank you, Anthony Martin.
No problem. What's going on? What are we talking about?
Medical expert extraordinaire.
I
You
try.
actually came at a good time, at a good break, because I wanted to talk about this earlier, but there was some cocaine found in the White House, right? And so I wanted to ask you, since you're in the medical field, is there any medical reason for a bag of cocaine
No, ma'am.
to be just laying around in the West Wing? Is it because I know back then there used to be rumors like it was in Coca-Cola, people use it for their teeth. I'm trying to see, is there any medical reason approved by the FDA that you are aware of?
Not one. Not one.
Okay, listen, I try to keep up with what's happening. That's why I asked you, you're a medical expert, because I'm waiting to find out. Octavia, is there any reason you could think of?
I heard it gives you energy, and I heard the presidency is a very, very draining position. So,
Let's
call
a spade a spade. They like to party. There was a wild party. Somebody got it in. There was a higher up that can make the call. But what happened is when they did a clean sweep, they forgot that little bit of coke.
Allegedly.
That's actually not
Got a
really a
little
little
bit
bit.
of
This is
coke.
the picture of it. This look
No,
like
that's not a real picture. Andre being crazy with the
I'm like, that's a little thick.
It was in a
Okay,
bag.
okay.
It was in a bag.
So they get down what they get down, just like anybody else, but they're proud to use coke as opposed to being a crackhead. It is what it is. So that was a higher up that called in that, right? That cannot come in without approval, without a guard or somebody turning the other way, a camera or something. So we know what time it is. Somebody's having a good old time in the White House.
Crazy.
But like they still human. They can't take. I mean, I don't personally, you know what I'm saying, indulge. But
Right.
I mean, but like they also like, are we reprimanding them for doing their extracurriculars though? Like, I mean, like I'm definitely somebody who feels like just because you're at a position doesn't mean you're not human, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so what are we again? Yeah, what are we saying? Are they not allowed to? You got to be straight edged, and you can't, you know, because these people.
What I'm saying
We live in Florida.
If they found a bag of cocaine in the White House when Obama was in there, they would have impeached him.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all
You
know
think
that.
they would have impeached? That's
Yeah.
impeachment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Impeach.
Yeah.
Oh,
They would have been
Absolutely.
crazy.
No question about
well,
it.
you know, it's their people. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. You know what I mean?
He told you guys there was something wrong.
100%. 100. I always say when you look at like
Damn.
Trump, anybody after Obama could not have gotten away with a 1,000th of a percent of what Trump got away with. Not a 1,000th of a percent. If he would have said one of the things that Trump said, even with the grab him by the, if he would have said that, his whole candidacy would have been done. It would have been over, completely done. And so, absolutely, if they would have found Obama with Fox News, if they would have found Obama with cocaine, the whole thing would have been, of course, the first black president.
White House,
Just rumor.
because
Of
it
course,
was in the West Wing, like in a cubby, allegedly.
Come on now.
So it's like it's in the White House, so it's not directly linked to the president. But I can only imagine how the news some story.
They doing,
you
of course,
know,
And they would have said he was a thug. They would have went through his records and said how many gangster rappers does he listen to. They would have yeah, absolutely 100%. What does he listen to? He must listen to this gangster rapper and this gangster rapper, and all they do is talk about drugs and guns, and that's his wit. Oh my Lord, they would have tore Obama. I remember one time when on Fox News when Obama was running and they had a picture of him and Michelle doing a fist bump. They called that the gangster terrorist fist bump.
They called it the terrorist fist jab.
Terrorist fist jab. Absolutely 100%. Because it's fist bump. So yeah, they would have tore Obama up if this was Obama. 100%.
Oh yeah.
But I'm just, I'm glad Anthony came because I just wanted to clear that situation out about the medical reason. Because I know, like, when stuff be going down and it be us, they, but they be coming with the reasons.
It's their world, though. We already know that.
The defense is going to defend. So I just wanted to make sure we had cleared that up in advance. We being proactive, as Dr. Mayer said. There's no medical reason for anybody to have an entire bag of cocaine in the White House. Just is no medical reason. So don't come back and say it was for heart. It was somebody had a stroke. Nothing, because
it's an illegal substance by law.
We said no.
Yeah.
He said no. I think said maybe for your mental health, but definitely not for your physical health. No. It's not
the
happening.
illegal substance.
So,
yeah, that's right.
What do you guys think about this story that allegedly Trump released Obama's address in DC on some other social media platform, and then a gunman went to Obama's address? Like,
yeah, I think this is not only sad, but it's also ridiculous. I think that there's this you guys know one of my first degrees in history, so my bad for going back a little bit. But there's a couple of things in history. So there's this one thing that talks about just kind of like the cycles of history and the cycles of society and the cycles of culture and things like that. And they talk about how you go through these cycles and it gets to a point to where the people start to not believe in their institutions anymore, whether it's the church or whether it's government and things like that. And we're starting to get to that like kind of fourth cycle in this society, in this country's, just like birth and the country's existence, to where you're starting to find so many more people now that are coming out against and just not believing in government, not believing in its leaders, not even having respect anymore for its leaders. And all these type of things, kind of like world wars, all these type of things kind of happen like little by little by little by little. I don't know if you guys remember, but when Obama was doing one of his State of the Union addresses, you had one of the Republican congressmen out in the audience yell, "You lie," when he was doing it. And those type of things you didn't see doing like Ronald Reagan or Clinton. You didn't see those type of things during Nixon or even
Well,
Kennedy
they was
or
white,
Johnson.
so there's that. But
So yeah, so so you didn't see those type of things, but you saw, countries are created and then they settle down. So you saw the creation with George Washington and all of them. And back then you used to see like duels and stuff like that. Then everything settles down. But then through these cycles, it gets to the fourth cycle where then you find more people now, don't believe in the institutions. You find more people than ever, like they're not religious anymore. They're not going to church anymore. They're not believing in the church like it used to be. And even smaller institutions like marriage is down to the lowest it's ever been now. So there's all these type of institutions that people are no longer believing in, and the respect for the government is part of that. And so with Trump releasing that, then you have these men showing up, or the man showing up with guns. This all dates back to like the Tea Party, you guys. If you remember the Tea Party.
yeah,
This all started back then with the Tea Party.
I would say it goes back even further than that. What I'd say, just succinctly, Obama ascending to the nation's highest office was seen as an affront to our social order. And to see a Black man in the White House, a Black family in the White House, uprooted so much of what had been laid underneath this cloud of civility. And so much of the polarization that we see right now is a direct response to white people feeling disenfranchised from the fact that a Black family achieved the unimaginable. And what Trump did right there is nothing short but an incitement to violence. To put out Obama's address, knowing that his supporters have threatened Obama before, knowing that his supporters have used symbols to threaten him. And while he was in office, GOP leaders were saying things like pray for the president, but were using scriptures talking about let his wife be a widow and his children be fatherless and things like that. He knew what he was doing there, in the same way that when he told people to appear at the Capitol on January 6th, he was inciting people to violence. He knew what it was, and people need not play with it. The fact that someone showed up is an indication that people took that seriously. And we're going to continue to see an escalation of things like this, in part because there's no enforcement of the rule of law right now. When you've got thousands of people who can storm the Capitol and threaten sitting lawmakers and try to overthrow the government, when you have people who threaten the family of the former president of the United States and they can walk around with impunity, it's only but so long that you can placate and pretend to engage in assassinations or overthrow of the government before people actually succeed in doing so. So it was despicable. Like if it was anybody else, they would have charged him with even like minor summary offenses, but there's a litany of different things that you could do. Even the publication of private facts is enough right there to potentially warrant some type of consideration. But yeah, what Trump did was reprehensible, but it doesn't surprise me that he did it though.
And think about Esquire Welbeck. Think about what you're saying with and you're absolutely right. It started with the Obama presidency, and that was the Tea Party. You guys remember that's when the Tea Party kind of arose from that. But think about how crazy it is what we're really discussing right now. We're not discussing, Joe Blow from down the street doing this. We're discussing a former sitting president. Like, think about how crazy that is.
No. I think you're giving people. So let me jump in here.
Go ahead, Queen Sheba.
So when it comes to them, they don't care if you're president. They never care. So why are we waiting for permission? Why are we waiting for people to acknowledge our positions? Violence begets violence. You come to my house, I'm going to stand my ground. Why are we expecting these people to give us the red carpet that they give to themselves when they are removing affirmative action? And sometimes we get too wrapped up in the politics and we kind of remove ourselves from reality. The reality is they do not see you, not all the time. but in many situations that's equal. So what if you're a president? I can still do what I want because I have a privilege to. And if I want to drop your address or dox you, I'm going to do that with no repercussions, with no accountability. And I did it. So what?
I 100%. I agree with you, and I have something to add to that. But I wasn't saying. I think that everybody kind of like read me wrong. I wasn't saying that they did this to Obama, a former. I'm saying a former president, Trump, called That's what I'm trying to say. Like, think about how low that is. That's what I'm trying to say. It wasn't Joe from down the street. A former sitting president.
Low. How did you elevate him to where you had to bring him back down and say that's low? How did he even make it up to the top?
We didn't elevate it, but it shows going back to those revolutions. It shows how low the office and the seat of the presidency has sunk and how it's viewed.
It's been that way. When we were enslaved as people, it's been that way. It's never gone up.
But
there's just different types of enslavement. There's different types of oppression. So what are we really doing? What are we really expecting as Black folks?
Well, let me jump into what you're saying, back you up, Queen Sheba, because I think that there's something that a lot of people don't really like talk about or recognize, and that's exactly what you were saying, Madam Queen, because for everything else, all throughout history, what she was saying, violence. If somebody comes at you violently, you defend yourself. When 9/11 happened, how did the United States defend itself? To go to war. When anything happens, the U.S. defends itself. Only when it comes to the melanated people, only when it comes to us, they give us a round of applause when we take non-violent measures. When they shoot all of our people down in that church. Where was that? South Carolina? Where was that? Where was that church?
Emmanuel.
Dylan Ruth? What was that? Dylan Ruth?
Yeah.
And what did the churchgoers do? Nothing wrong with them. They didn't do anything wrong. They prayed about it. Right? They prayed about it. We didn't take to the streets. We didn't take up arms, anything. We pray about it. We march, we pray. And they say, hey, that's the way you guys are supposed to respond.
Well, this generation is a bit different than the Malcolm X generation because they struck. If they didn't strike first, they would strike back, right? Violence begets violence, but they also educated the people on how to stand still, when to strike. What we're saying is, oh, they're hurting us in the street, but tell them what to do when they encounter police. You see, back in the day, Malcolm X would put out rhetoric. If they encounter you, you do this, you do that, you do that. And then once violence is introduced into the picture, and I think the education, I think we're missing the gap between the start and the end result of one of us losing our lives, where we're not educating each other on what to do in between the start and the finish. And I think that's where we're missing an opportunity as a generation. And I'll pause just to see if any of the other panelists want to chime in.
No, I agree.
Oh, okay.
I agree. Octavia, go ahead.
No, I was actually just talking to a friend the other day, and I was asking them, I said, we've been riding the wave of what the folks before us did. We've not, in my opinion, at least, overall, as far as like the type of impact, not like, and I also think it's like we grew up in this, I always say we grew up in this time where we got to party and dance. Party and party, like we got to do that, and it kind of like did something different. And I don't think that I think that the work is yet to be done on a larger scale. There's so many different incels, if you will, but there's no like motherboard. There's no foundation.
Leadership.
There's no. You said what?
Leadership,
but it's hard to do because there is leadership of I think the incels, the people that are popping up, I think they do have elements of leadership. There's no overall, there's no community. The word is actually doesn't really exist. It's
the
really
deep work that they used to do and pour into the community.
Like people don't even get along. You know what I mean? Like people don't even have a real principle struggle with one another in the larger scheme of things. Mm-hmm. What's the impact going to really look like if that's not happening? If we're not educating, also like attacking our youth, we're also forgetting that all the work, Huey, Martin, all these people were mad young. They
Yes.
were not out there like us. Oh, like older. You know what I mean? Like,
Adults. They were not adults.
they
They was
were
doing adult
young.
things.
They were young adults, but to Octavia's point,
Right.
we're all older than Dr. King and Malcolm at the time of their assassination. And so we're talking about young people who are at the forefront of our movement. But to Octavia's point too, I think just in a broad anecdotal sense, one of the things we are missing as a people is a collective sense of purpose, identity, and a
Right.
desire for liberation. We've become very individualistic. And like, as we like to colloquially say, we're losing recipes.
And simulated.
Yeah, because like when you look at the Montgomery bus boycott, you could talk about like the people in Montgomery, they organized and mobilized within the span of 72 hours and crippled the city.
With no internet.
No internet, barely had telephone, you know what I'm saying? No social media, you know what I mean? So like you think about all the movements throughout the history of our people in this country towards equity and liberation. So many of it was this resolve, just understanding that I am because we're in this together. My benefit is tied to your benefit. My freedom is tied to your freedom. And so let's get free. And I think we're losing a sense of that as people chase the bag, as people want to get clout, so to speak, or just find ways to enrich themselves. We're losing a sense of this collective advancement. And to the point that we can't even do simple things like Omar was saying earlier and turn out to vote in ways that we should, or mobilize around substantive issues. Like Suwan and I began talking about Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's dissent in the recent affirmative action case. Most people aren't even going to read that dissent, let alone like see the roadmap that she's laying out with the historical fight in higher ed. And so I think that's what we have to get back to, this collective identity. I think we're beginning to lose that in part because we want to see at the other man's table instead of continuing to build up our own.
And also capitalism, right?
I think we're missing a strong formation of male leadership too, because back then they had male leadership, healthy male leadership, where they weren't attacking Black women. They were standing united. Those men were ready to lay their line. Come on now. Black woman wasn't the problem. She was the precious cargo. His children were the precious cargo. So you see these men that were willing to hold the line to protect their lineage, to protect the community. We don't have that no more. We got skinny jeans.
I think right now we spend a lot of time working on something that doesn't need to be worked on, which I've talked about this before. We spend a lot of time talking about splitting bills. Krishan and what's the thing?
The fact that your name is
a lot of time on talking about who's polyamorous and who's not, and who's gonna pay the bills. And I'm just like, okay, listen, y'all, we having this conversation for the 8th time this week. You don't need to call anybody broke today. Let's try to, focus on loving each other, or figuring out a language to speak to each other, or figuring out, just what to do on a micro level with your individual relationships. So then those things could spread out. And I feel like we are just missing that mark so much, because right now, all of our capital and all of our power, I won't say all, a lot of it is in social media. It's like, boom, something happens on social media. We are all in community. There's nothing that happened this week where we were more unified than dragging Darius Jackson, Keke Palmer, baby daddy. Okay?
I was just about to say that as you were talking, like, quit worried about what I'm wearing to a concert and get your ass out there in the community and make some stuff happen. That's the least of your worries.
Okay. The community came the hell out on behalf of Keke Palmer this week.
They cooked that man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make
social media.
He messed around and found out real quick.
I thought he was joking. I thought he was joking, like how Chrissy Teigen be doing John Legend. I thought he was just trolling a little something.
Yeah,
Yikes.
that was one of the more unfortunate parts about it
To
all.
explain it to anybody who hadn't seen the
Yeah,
story,
go ahead, Sue.
Darius Jackson is Keke Palmer's partner, the father of her child. They're not married, but they're together. And Keke Palmer went to see Usher in Las Vegas residency, which is a new mecca. You got to see Usher in Vegas if you black. There was a time where we had to go to Tulum. We're not going to Mexico no more, y'all. Okay, we didn't talk about this before. But everybody want to go to Vegas. Everybody see Usher. Listen, Usher is unproblematic. The people be bringing the problems to his show. Chris Brown tried to act up last time. This time, Keke Palmer is literally at the concert in the VIP where she probably, I don't know, paid $7,000 or $8,000 to be. So Usher gonna pull up. He's gonna pull up and see Auntie Patty went there. He went to see my Auntie Patty. That's what he does when the celebrities are there. He serenades them. He makes them feel special. He makes all the guests feel special, but he definitely is gonna show love to his fellow Hollywood queens and musicians and things like that. Keke Palmer is there. He's having a moment with her, serenading her. She posted on her page because she's amped up. Oh, you know, as I would be too. As anyone would be, because you see how even like the male artists and celebrities and stuff, when they see Usher like doing the skating and stuff, they're amped up. They want to skate. Like Usher is a vibe. He's a vibe. Okay. Keke Palmer posts on her page the Usher serenading her, and her own bitter baby daddy is gonna post or comment under her post, "It's your outfit. You are a mom." Okay, listen, I can tell you personally, who she has decided to date and procreate with, that's her business. I'm not in her business. I think she's awesome. Obviously, she's Akilah the Bee. We're gonna protect her at all costs. My take on him bringing us into their personal life and conversation is I didn't want to be in their personal life and conversation, but since you're bringing me into it, I don't understand why he would feel like he needs to publicly have a conversation like that and be serious about her and then double down and come back and say, oh, well, I have the right to have standards for my family, and why are people saying stuff? Because he has standards of what he thinks his family and how she should go out. Okay, listen, I'm with you on having your standards. I'm with you on being head of your family. You're not married, but hey, listen, you know, maybe you don't believe in the paperwork and with the government or whatever, or Keke people still drafting the prenups. Because one thing about Keke, she's proactive. She gonna get her bag and she gonna make sure the paperwork is due and in order. So, okay, cool. You want to be the moral right baby daddy. I'm not gonna hold you. All I'm saying is, as Queen Sheba was saying, we got stuff going on in real time, right? Your wife is at the intersection of race and gender and already dealing with oppression. Why are you jumping in the shit?
And publicly
Why
too.
are you jumping in?
It's like, listen, if you got anything to say to your person too, I do believe that it don't need to be put up on no Twitter space. Talk to me. And also, where was you at before she left the crib? I mean, maybe she just, well, I guess maybe she was traveling and whatever. She brought her back. But like, you talk to them. If you really got a problem, you just have the conversation later. You don't get on and then try to shame her talking about something. You a mom and you a dad. Why are you not doing something else other than on Twitter tweeting?
Yeah, I mean, I have so many issues with it. I'll try to be brief, but like I'll begin.
Yes, as a husband, let's hear it.
Well, I'll begin at the beginning, and that Sue-Ann, you said it right. We should not know about this at all.
Right.
If this were something he found objectionable, this is a conversation he should have had with his partner privately, particularly when she is so guarded about her public persona and has talked about she does not talk about her personal business publicly. That's one. But two, no pun intended, but Darius is deeply insecure. His brother is famous. His partner is famous. The only reason why we know his name is because his brother was on Insecure, and his partner is one of our most beloved celebrities. And in this particular moment, he felt threatened because it's not about the outfit. He's posted pictures of her while she was in various stages of undress before and after she had a child. So it's not the fact that she's dressed in a way that he finds provocative. It's not the fact that she's the mother of his child, because he has posted pictures of her already like this before. And beyond that, it's not even about like some standards or something like that, because he's demonstrated that he doesn't have the traditional standards he's talking about either. He didn't marry this woman. They had a child out of wedlock. But beyond that, I think he felt threatened seeing his partner swooning over Usher. Kiki is
Yes, I'm gonna have to ride with Timothy, but go ahead, Timothy.
Usher been chilling.
But here's the thing. I don't
mind his business. He got small kids. He in his relationship.
No, I'm coming behind Timothy. Let him talk.
To your point, just a couple things, and I'll wrap it up. I don't think Usher meant anything by this, and I don't think Kiki meant anything by this. Usher does this, as you said, with celebrities and with casual fans and the like. He does this every single night on his tour.
Right. Okay.
Every single night, he goes into the audience and serenades an audience member. Sometimes it's an A-list celebrity. Sometimes it's an average concert goer, but he does this every single night. But I think it was the fact that Darius saw Kiki swooning over her. And I'll tell you a quick story. So there's a basketball player, Sergey Ibaka. He's a professional basketball player. He's a chef. He has a podcast where he like cooks meals and eats with like a guest. He brought on Kawhi Leonard, one of his former teammates. He asked Kawhi Leonard, "Who is your celebrity crush?" And Kawhi said, "I'm not going to disrespect my girl like that." And then Sergey is like, "Yo, it's an innocuous question." And Kawhi said, "It's not, because we're not average men. My celebrity crush is within reach." So like in this particular moment, Kiki's not your average concert goer. If Kiki wants to, she can get in contact with Usher. She's not going to, from what we've seen demonstrated by her. But I feel like Darius saw this. Darius felt threatened and insecure.
And he was like, "Oh, this isn't just a regular dude. This is like
this is not a regular dude, and my partner is behaving in a way that makes me feel uncomfortable, makes me feel insecure about my stature." Again, because like we don't know anything about who he is or what he does aside from his proximity to two famous people. And here is a generational star having this public moment. And like, honestly, like this moment happens, everybody sees it, everybody moves on. Nobody's thinking about it until he tweets it. And then to Octavia's point, some people thought he was joking and were ready to move on again. And then he doubles down. And that's why like, oh, you're gonna be a fool. You know what I'm saying? Like we can be foolish with you. And that's when all of this happened. But ultimately, I think this is stemming from Darius being insecure, particularly about his status, and also the attention that Kiki is getting. Like the glow up that she's had since she's had this child, she's getting a new level of attention that she has not gotten before. We've always loved
Kiki. Because mommies matter, period.
We've always loved Kiki, but now people are talking about Kiki in ways that they have not talked about her before. And I think he already felt threatened by that. And then this caused him to lose his mind for 5 minutes. And now he might mess around.
I think he forgot. I think he thought he was the prize.
Yeah,
if you go back and look at his pictures with her, she was very bare. She was extremely bare. If you go back through the archives and look at the pictures that they posted on social media, it was not the glam, the celebrity, right? So Kiki came down.
So you think because he caught her during COVID when she was inside?
No. I just think women understand the assignment more than men.
She was chilling. She was on the low, and then she popped out, and he was like, "Whoa!"
No makeup, bare face, glasses, because you need something basic. But I'm not basic. But until we establish an ebb and a flow, that's what you need. That's the picture we're gonna take, and we're gonna post it on social media.
You think she led him to believe that she was
a lot of women? But see, that's what happens when we coach
You know,
women.
that might be why my ex still
Suan,
mad
but
at me.
Suan, to Queen Sheba's point though, Kiki has grown in confidence in these last 2 years, and admittedly so. Kiki has dealt with various things that
Stedman and
she felt-
ASAP Rocky are the blueprint. That's what.
Never been without confidence, but a lot of women will become a chameleon for a man. Let's just talk
Mhm.
about it. I mean, come on, ladies, let's not front. We don't talk about it, but that's what happens when we coach
Okay,
women.
let's talk about it. Let's really
That's
talk
what
about it.
happens when we coach women to date below the financial threshold that they're on. You get
We're
insecurity.
not even talking about a financial threshold yet.
He ain't with her.
We're not having the split bills conversation.
Oh no, we're not having
Period.
those
So
conversations.
it wasn't
We are
even about the outfit.
about Kiki being successful in her career, successful in her vibe, vibrating very high, despite
But it's bigger than that to a man.
and him being on a low vibration. He's at the pool eating with his hands on a paper plate. He's low vibration.
And then you bump and grind against Usher, who I could never match financially.
Not bump and grind, but I see what you're
Hold
saying.
on, but still, that's what you gotta see. That's what he felt in order to produce that tweet. So we gotta go inside what he's thinking, not what we're thinking,
Yeah,
right?
to
Because you
Madam
felt
Queen's
some kind of way to type against your baby mama, which a year ago you said was the best thing that ever happened to you. So now she should not be doing that because she's a mom, a predicament that you placed her in, traditional man.
Mhm.
You made her a baby mama. You didn't make her a wife. You made her a baby mama. And now you want her to go back in her box, in her place that you see her as belonging in. You never saw her as a wife because if so, you would have kept her reputation intact.
Mm.
You wouldn't worry about it then.
Come on.
You wouldn't worry about it when you impregnated her without a ring. When you kind of blemished, when you created a blemish in her good girl image, right? So now she's on stage. She's bounced back 4 months postpartum. She's on a stage with Usher, whom you could never financially. So this is
Mildred
about
said she not splitting bills.
it
They
ain't
want to talk about splitting bills. We're not talking about splitting
it ain't
bills.
even about Kiki. We dig deeper to the psychological level. It's about
Yeah.
you not being able to measure up against the man that she's next to.
100%.
Okay, so my concern is for successful black women. Like, so what's the vibe? Like,
My heart goes
you
out to
can
successful
only
black
date
women.
a Usher? Like, is Cardi B right? Because Cardi B was complaining. Well, she wasn't complaining. She was saying, oh, you know, she's not like she could cheat on Offset because she's so famous that who could she talk to that wouldn't say, you know, and
A lot of men.
you know, like what is the how does Kiki successfully date without dimming her light? And I've talked about the fact that for me, I think in modern dating, there is a level of intellectual dishonesty. Everybody always jumps on me. Oh, you mean you gotta lie to these men? I'm like, no, I'm not talking about lying. I'm saying sometimes some things you do kind of just have to keep a blank face and not really dig into it too much and let your man live.
No.
And let him live.
Yeah.
So, you know, Kiki, I'm sure could respond and read him and be like, boy, well, woo, 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 and this and that, and I pay all the bills or whatever. She could do all that stuff, but I don't think she is going to do that for us to see. You know what I mean? I'm sure she's going to draw him a map to where he had her fucked up at. I'm sure she's going to do that down to the house. You know what I mean? But she's not going to come online and do all that stuff because she is on a level where that's not something that would, enhance her vibration. So I don't think she's going to do that. But what is the play? Like, she is obviously being publicly, he's trying to put her down. You know,
He's trying to put her back in her box. It's a display of control. I'm going to play on you being a mom to check you so that you can go back and sit in the box that I put you in. So what happens is she never knew he thought that way, right? I'm going to impregnate you because I'm the prize. I'm so-and-so's brother. I'm light-skinned. I got good hair. You should be happy. You should be happy to have me. For a number of years, I ain't never seen no man claim you publicly. So here I am on the scene. You're Keke Palmer, but you ain't never had one like me. right?
I
And
think he had a pregnant girl when they got together, but I'm not sure. Not like overlap, but I
but
think
he
a
never
girl.
had no Kiki. But Kiki forgot who the hell she was while she was picking.
It was
right?
COVID. It was COVID. To be fair, a lot
I
of
don't
people.
care. Women are still responsible. We still got to hold women accountable. I mean, it could be COVID. It could be what?
It was COVID.
It's still not an excuse.
Listen, a lot of those COVID relationships had a rude awakening when the world opened, and nobody is immune to it. I mean, that's just the facts. You get you were able to have a longer extended honeymoon stage than a usual world and this incubation. But you know, the truth will always come out, and I hope they talked about it. You know what I mean? Like, as we all know, relationships are very complex and emotional and has a lot of different nuances to it. She's probably not going anywhere. What I do hope is that they learn some etiquette between the both of them, or he learns some etiquette. They talk about it and are able to positively move forward. I mean, he did double down. So, he's given chauvinist, he's given, definitely has that controlling thing, but, hopefully if he wants to stay where he is, which man's got a good wife, he's got a good thing. Well, she's not his wife, but you know what I'm saying.
Right,
Hopefully he works that out and they'll be good.
Anthony, as a traditional man, but a single man on the panel. What is going on? Are you seeing wifey down to the usher? And are you calling her, texting the group, your group chat with your homeboys? Like, look what she got on. Like, what is Anthony?
So, first of all, I'm confused. Are they together? Or are they not together? First of all,
they're together.
They're together.
That's very shocking. Very shocking.
But not married.
That they're together. Okay. First of all, I agree with you, Queen She, but I also agree with Timothy. That's just showing a huge regard of insecurity on his part. Huge. But also, too, I have to say that I'm sure that's not the first time he's displayed these actions towards her. So she knew what she was dealing with.
That's a good point.
So dealing with that kind of man, especially picking that kind of man based on the caliber where she is, I just can't say much without hearing a lot of where her mindset is, because Queen Sheba said a lot of key things regarding her dumbing down. And he came to the table like, hey, I'm this skin color, I can give you a curly haired baby, I give you this and that. But in other words, how do we not know that that's what she wanted? Because when she stepped to the scene with him, I was surprised at who she picked to reproduce with, to be honest with you.
Mary Kelly said his energy has to match my energy, and so does his bank account. I'm a big girl and I don't do those Mr. meals.
Yeah, so also I feel like a woman like Keke Palmer, she could require marriage from a man. So the fact that she didn't require marriage from that man says a lot about her as well. She's
on her Oprah. She's on her Oprah.
And where she is. I feel like she could have gotten a man to marry her and had a baby the right way. She didn't want to. So we have to take a look at that as well. Where her mindset is, we can't put all the blame on him or her, but I do feel like she dumbed down. I would never have displayed that in public. If I had a problem with it, when she came home, we would have sat down, we would have talked about it. But I never would have put our business out there. My daughter's mother's going to see Usher next weekend. I don't care what she's doing, prancing around with what she wearing. That's not my business at all. Like, literally, I don't check. We don't follow each other on social media. I don't know what she's doing. She don't know what I'm like. Literally, our lives are separate, So that's why I say I'm very surprised to hear that they actually are together. But yeah, that was a very insecure move that he made, and he's never gonna be able to let that down. But I don't see that relationship going far anyways.
So you said that you would not have done it on social media. So you're saying you would have spoke to her about the outfit in private.
First of all, I have no problems with the outfit. First of all, I also don't have a problem with Usher serenading her at all. That I really don't. I know the kind of man he is. I trust my girl. And that is what it is. You wouldn't have heard nothing. I would have said, hey, you had a good time? Cool. Glad you had a great time. That was it. That was it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have gone that far.
Okay. Dr. Mayer, did you want to say something?
Dr. Mayer.
It's all good. I think that I think all you guys kind of hit it on the nail on the head. I think that what something that we're not looking at, and this may be part of what might have happened, and that is that I think his insecurity also might have came about. Not only, I think I agree 100% with Madam Queen there about the money and the status and things like that, but also he might have like either realistically or maybe made up in his mind fictionally what his friends thought about the situation. So he probably felt I have to go to social media because I don't want my family or my friends. He might have had one of his homeboys call, be like, "Hey man, what your girl doing with Usher? Like, you seen the news? You see what's on social media?" So maybe his pride and him being insecure is kind of like if you're in the club and you know your girl might be at the bar buying a drink, and it might happen maybe for like 15 split seconds. 15 seconds that a really handsome, tall guy might come up to your girl while she's buying the drink and start whispering in her ear, and your homeboy like, "Hey, who that over there talking to your girl at the bar?" And you like, "Man," you know what I mean? So sometimes your insecurities and things like that, the idea of your friends or your family thinking about it or seeing it, it boosts you up to act like a fool outside of your character.
So Queen Sheba was saying in the chat, do we think that he pursued someone like her in order to tame her? And I think that's a good question, but I think y'all are going to be mad at me, but I feel like during COVID, we were all in a different frame of mind. Listen, I didn't go on Ready to Love during COVID, okay? I was in my right state of mind, and it was last summer, okay? So it is what it is. I'm not trying to cover for my own decisions in any way. I'm just saying, during COVID, we were in a fight or flight type of thing. So it's possible, you know, that maybe it started during then and then kind of like, you know, I don't know. I feel like she seems super happy. And I do think, and I can say from experience, there is a level of like, you know, not chameleon, like Queen Sheba said, or kind of leveling out in certain aspects of the relationship. But I think I remember my brother telling me one time, because I was complaining, I was like, "Oh, it's too tough to date." I personally don't feel like I'm a lot, but people say, "Sued, you're a lot. It's a lot." And my brother was like, "You just have to date people with bigger hands, you know, like people who can handle it, as opposed to trying to smush yourself to be like, let me fit with someone who can." That I have to feel like I'm a lot for, you know, just deal with somebody with bigger hands, deal with somebody who can deal with whatever your life comes with. Because, you know, obviously, you know, there's a lot that comes with dating Keke Palmer. She's on TV. She has a lot of social media presence. She has multiple businesses. She calls herself the big boss, which she is the big boss. Yeah. You know, she takes care of all her family members, which she talks about a lot. She has a lot of responsibility. She's had that from a young age. So I can't imagine like how any person in her circle has to kind of maneuver and, you know, interact with her in a certain way. So I could see like her being glad to have somebody come in and be like,
yeah,
you want to have a baby? Okay. You want to, you know, okay. Whatever you want to eat. Okay. It's fine. It's fine. And now she's back to work. She's out. She's, you know, it's different now. It's not fine. It's like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be here. You stay with the baby. I'll be back. You know, so yeah. I'm sure that's taking its toll.
Had he tweeted this during COVID, then we could have said COVID. I don't know how long I've been double muted, y'all. Oh, I think for a while. Oh my gosh. But had he tweeted this during COVID, we could have said COVID. But he did not tweet this during COVID. This is 2023. So we're out of COVID. We're in reality.
No, I was saying why she got into the relationship in the first place.
But okay, how you start is different than how you finish.
I mean, I hope that it's not finished because she seemed happy, but
you know, you seem happy until, and I don't want Black women to have an attitude of long suffering because we don't have to no more in 2023. If you feel the need to publicly shame me, because your job as my husband, as a man that's courting me, is to protect, provide, and profess. even if it's meaning you protecting me from you. So what happens when you become the person that I need to be protected from? And that's the script, and that's the scene that we don't have an answer for, right? Because nobody wants to hold men accountable. But what happens when the man becomes the bad guy? Then what do you say to the woman? Hang in there? Because our
Yeah.
grandmothers hung in there.
Jeanette said Kiki is an entertainer. She is a brand. It's
Mhm.
envy. It's like, why should we be competing though? You know, and
But what
that
are we
goes to
saying
our
to women?
conversation earlier. I feel like we're busy sometimes in some relationships, like Black women competing and arguing with Black men all day on Instagram, which gets on my nerves. But even in relationships, like competing as opposed to collaborating, so that then the energy is spent on building community and then us progressing as a people. It's like we sitting up here arguing about what Kiki Palmer wore to Usher instead of being
Yeah.
like, yo, Usher got a whole residency, okay, in
Yeah.
Vegas. So we
Iconic.
do need to be supporting Usher, selling it out, making sure that more artists from our Black artists are getting on that path to economic, you know, have that level of, you know, having a Vegas residency is a big deal, and maintaining it and selling it out and doing all that stuff. Those are huge. That's progress for us in entertainment. Because I always say there's many paths to a revolution. Everybody's doing their thing in their lane, whether it's, you know, giving somebody something extra, the Black barista giving the Black person, you know, lighter ice in they drink or whatever it is. There's many paths to a revolution. So Usher's doing his thing in the arts. So we should be focusing on how can we get more artists in the pipeline to have Vegas residencies, to have that level of exposure. But we are literally over here having to remediate with Darius.
Yeah.
So my question is, we're here, we're talking about it. How do we solution it? What do we say to Black women that finds themselves in a predicament where she becomes successful and she's just going out? She's been what she's been. Kiki has been a whole vibe before she met him. She will continue to be, with or without him. So the solution is to what? Like, whether it's a man or a woman, because men also face these challenges. But what do we say as a panel?
Are we gonna give grace to Darius and just say he got overwhelmed? It's Usher. She kind of started out at the top. It's not like
She started like,
it was
okay,
a
she started
fan
off
or
at the
something
top.
where he could be like, okay, and we gonna give grace, see how Kiki resolves it, and then go move from there. Or is he canceled? What are we doing?
I'm not canceling him, but I don't feel like we should give Black. Okay, y'all not gonna be. We've given enough grace as women. What are we doing?
Okay, no, listen, that's why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking. That's
I
why
want
I'm
the
asking.
panel. I want
That's
the
why
panel
I'm
to chime in, because I'm pretty set in my viewpoint. I don't think she should break up with him. I think she should handle it behind the scenes. But I also think that it's worth a conversation. I don't want women to smooth it over neither, because it's a trend. It could lead up to something more escalating. But I'll pause for the rest of the panel. What would you say to your niece, your daughter, should this have happened to her?
Oh, you have a little feedback. Ooh. Okay. What would you say?
I mean, what I would say, Suanne, is what your brother said to you. To date someone with bigger influence. I mean, ultimately, I think that's the type of advice that should be given. There's actually a clip that's circulating where Kiki was on Steve Harvey's show, and he effectively was telling her the same thing. Apparently, behind the scenes, Steve Harvey has tried to set her up before with people that he thought were on her level. They're not necessarily famous, but they were people who had their affairs together. They were jokingly calling them billionaires. And so Steve Harvey had tried multiple times to set her up in that way. And effectively, the quote that everyone keeps using is he told her, he said, don't let a boy enjoy your lifestyle if he hasn't earned it. And so, like, or take a boy along for the ride of your lifestyle if he hasn't earned it, or something along those lines. And effectively, Steve Harvey was trying to tell her that she was dating beneath herself. And she doesn't necessarily need to have someone who is more famous than her. And it's not even necessarily about net worth, but it's about someone who has the character, the morals, and has enough going for himself to where he can contribute to her life in a meaningful way and not try to diminish what she's doing or be threatened by what she's doing. And and to that end, there's another quote that's circulating too from Trevor Noah that I thought is really salient too, about your question about was he trying to tame her? And this is something that Trevor Noah's mother said to him. He said, she said the traditional man wants a woman to be subservient, but he never falls in love with subservient women. He's attracted to independent women. He's like an exotic bird collector. He only wants a woman who is free because his dream is to put her in a cage.
Mm.
I don't believe that's true about all traditional men, but there are a lot of men who are like that. And I think Darius is exhibiting behavior that could be consistent with that. And that you're saying you want one thing, you pursued a woman who's not necessarily what you said that you wanted. And now you're trying to take a square peg and put it in a round hole. And then when she's bigger than what you imagined for her to be, you're now trying to put her in her place publicly. Keke Palmer has said multiple times, they even did a podcast interview recently where he jokingly asked her, if we ever get in a messy situation and a woman saying that she got caught up with me, what are you going to do? And she said, I'm Stevie Wonder to the BS. If I ever talk about it, it'll be in a closed room with just me and you. But the public is never going to hear about this because they don't need to know what's going on in my personal life. And then he takes this incident, and like now we're talking about all of Black Twitter is talking about what's happening with him. CNN reported on it today. NBC reported on it today. And it's like Keke Palmer has never had a blemish on her public record.
Right.
And so like, and to that degree, it's unfortunate. But I'll end where I began, Sue Ann, in that what would I tell the women in my life who are dating, or things like that? Date a man who's secure. Date a man with bigger hands who can handle you in your fullness. You don't want to ever diminish yourself for the sake of partnership. It's better to be alone than to do that.
So my daughters,
Oh, it's Anthony.
Oh, we found the culprit. We found the
I'm
culprit.
sorry.
Yeah, Anthony has feedback.
Anthony, you good or?
Let's see.
Okay. All right,
You
so
can go ahead,
I
Dr.
think-
Merrick.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Sister Robinson. I appreciate it. I think that nobody should settle, right? I think that, whether you're talking about men or women, you all, unless you believe in, which if you do, there's no problem. Unless you believe in reincarnation, you all, we're not here for very long. You know what I mean? And so I think that you should try to strive on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, to try to find as much happiness as possible. Now, don't try to find happiness in doing the wrong thing, or don't try to find happiness in your laziness, but try to
Or
strive.
in a bag of cocaine at the White House.
Exactly. So don't do that. But try to find and try to strive for as much happiness as possible. And that being the case, you're not these men, mama. You know what I'm saying? Like if they're not acting right, there's no obligation on you to stick into a relationship and stay within that relationship with somebody who's not acting right. Like I don't like this. That's not my obligation. Also, and I know, and some people might get mad at this, you know what I'm saying?
Because we supposed to ride or die.
It's all good, but Madam Esquire, some people might get mad at this. But also, listen, I understand. People go through things, especially when they're young. And this is a conversation for another time. Something that really bothers me in government is that we have to deal with so many, constituents and things like that. The amount of, and I'm going to take a turn on this, but the amount of, I'm just going to throw this out there really quickly. This is the serious part. The amount of young girls that have been sexually molested is astronomical, you all. I had no idea until I got in government and had to start to deal with the situation. And I was like, are you like
old lady talk? Thank you.
It's so crazy that it's almost to the point to where, not even almost, it's to the point to where when you start to hear women talk about their childhood and their traumas, it's almost hard to find somebody who did not have to go through something when they were young. It's that bad. Now, we back this up and take it back to what we were talking about. That being said, I understand that people go through things when they're young, but also it's not your obligation to fix somebody either. If a man comes to you and he has issues because his dad, like whatever it is, it's not your obligation to take years out of your life to try to fix this man and make this man grow up.
Are you sure?
No, it's not your obligation. You're not his mama. It's not your obligation.
Because we're supposed to be the South, are we not?
It's not. Listen,
we're not supposed to ride or die.
You have listened.
Hard times.
Sister Esquire. Now, if
I'm not asking for me. I've already made my choice.
I understand. But if you look,
I'm asking for everybody.
If you got with the man when y'all were both like in college and y'all ain't have nothing, then y'all came up together or something like that. Y'all were both in high school. You got with the man, and then he goes through something. Stick beside him because you were there from the beginning. You guys were there from the beginning together. But if you meet this man, and this man is 30-something years old, 40-something years old, he's a grown damn man. If he's had problems and issues from his childhood, from when he was a teenager, it is not your obligation to fix this grown-ass man. It's not your obligation. You have one life.
I'm glad that you're saying it because I think that for a long time and a lot of times, what Black women are told is the men are in jail or they're not interested in you as a partner. So they're not interested in you as a partner. So please just take what you can get. And if you get one and he's a little dirty, community-ish, don't have it together, just keep it pushing and work it out. And so when we do see Black women that are happy, like Ciara, what we see of their life, we're all like, can we get the prayer? What is going on? Because we've been told that we are supposed to suffer in love. That's how you know it's real. It's real when you're suffering.
Madam Esquire, no.
So I just want you to clarify what you're saying as a man.
Yeah. Who's telling us that? If we think about where the message in the pipeline is rooted, who's telling us that?
Yes.
It's other Black women.
Absolutely. And I also think, look, Madam Queen's on point, Madam Esquire. And a lot of that, because that's not a new saying, like stick beside your man when he goes to jail. Don't give up on him. He has to fight through, he was done wrong. He's in the struggle and things like that. That stems from a time period when Black men were going to jail for kind of like righteous reasons. You know what I mean? Remember, Black men had to deal with so much racism and righteous. Not saying we don't deal with racism today, but if you have somebody,
it was like injustice.
Exactly. So they were going to jail. So stick beside your man. But if you have somebody who's like, you know what I mean, toting around choppers. And so, like, you don't got to stick beside this man. Like, you know what I mean?
Don't have to stick beside him, ladies. Do not have to stick beside foolishness.
Just look at it. All you have to do is just now stop right here. And I hope my brother Anthony going to come in, you know what I mean? Because he got his stuff fixed. Okay. But all you have to do is look at this logically. Just look at everything logically. Don't take this relationship we're talking and put it somewhere else. Put it into a job. Why would you stick at a job that's not doing you right? Or a job that is not treating you right? Would you stick? Oh, but we got to stick by the job because let's say you work at a job in a business and it's owned by a Black man. Well, this man, sometimes the checks come, sometimes they don't. But hey, it's a Black business. I'm just going to stick with it. Sometimes, no, you got to strive for greatness and strive for happiness at the highest of levels while you're here because we're not here for that long.
Okay. We're going to let Anthony talk. Jeanette Stewart said, do we actually know the level of commitment in their relationship? Why is he speaking this way about her? Is he using the baby to control her? We don't know. I mean, as far as what she shows online, and I think earlier this week, she was like posting like, I don't mean to be one of those people that come online and just be like, my man, but I love my man. Like she was like just saying that. And that's why I don't save people number in my phone until I really know you solid, like men or women. Okay, because people will disappoint you sometimes, and you got to be able to just cut that cord and be like, okay, let's keep it pushing. Because man, oh man, why he is exactly correct. Why would he be speaking that way about her? He knows her brand. He knows who she is. He knows what she's pushing towards. She has her own network now. I think she's given him his own podcast or platform on her network. Like, it just seems horrible. It just seems counterintuitive. Anthony's back, so I want to hear what Anthony has to say.
So I was saying, this is my daughter. I'll tell her, throw him in the trash. He's a walking red flag, to be honest with you. He's insecure. He's emotionally immature as well. And pretty much it's like he just showed up at her job and just cursed her out and embarrassed her at her job. Pretty much the public is her job. So he has no respect for her at all. And if he doesn't have any by now, then he probably will never have any. So she just needs to walk out of that situation, take care of her kid, and just look the other way. He's not worth her time.
Really? He gotta go? Okay. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just trying to, I'm a defense attorney. I was a prosecutor, so I'm always trying to see, like, okay, is there a way to salvage?
No, I think black women have been conditioned to suffer, and then only
But
at the
he
last
came
resort.
to her job, cursed her out. What is the conversation like? Babe, what's going on? Like,
No, it's like incompatibility. Like that's a level of disrespect, and that's a level of disrespect we have to start teaching our young girls that they don't have to adhere to, right? We don't raise them to enjoy and thrive. We rate it thrive through life. We enjoy life and have those happy moments. We raise them to be survivors, warriors, and I wish more for us. I wish more softness. So if we really want the next generation of young girls to enter into a realm of softness, Anthony just gave us the blueprint. Teach them to walk away quicker, period, point blank. And that's coming from a man.
Okay, well, listen, the men speaking, we said we want the men to come forward and let us know what needs to be done. So I appreciate it. I certainly do. I appreciate each of you being on the panel and joining me and kicking it with me, and everybody in the chat and all the moderators are doing amazing. I love to see it. We've been on here almost 2 hours. It feels like 5 minutes to me. You guys know that this is my time, my downtime and my uptime at the same time, where I get to talk to everybody and have these good conversations. And I am honored to be connected with amazing gentlemen like Timothy, like Anthony, like Dr. Mayer. So I appreciate you, Andre, behind the scenes. I appreciate y'all and my queens. I appreciate y'all for sure, because like I was saying about Kiki, we are at the intersection of race and gender. So we do have a different set of, oppression and things that we have to navigate daily that only we can understand, amongst each other. And, our men understand it as well, because we share it with them. And so it's important for us, as we are trying to have adult conversations and also come up with adult solutions too, and move forward, that we do have these conversations, that we are coming out of the conversations like, hey, not necessarily this is what our advice is, but this is how you think about something logically. Hey, if you're dating somebody and they exhibit XYZ, then maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Think about it. Don't just keep progressing and not thinking about what the context of, who you are as a woman, or who you are in your success, in your career, in your brand. So that's really the reason why I brought the story to the adult table, because I just thought, aside from the fact that we could say, the internet shut down his social media because he's off social media now apparently.
He's back
Um,
now.
Oh, he came back.
He's back.
That was
Within the
quick.
last couple hours.
That was quick.
back. He's back. I just saw a few moments ago. He's back.
What he's saying?
He didn't need to come back. He needed to take a longer break. But
Right.
you know, it is a demonstration, just a microcosm of the issues that we need to resolve just amongst ourselves and then internally so that we can work together and then take that out into the community. You know, it's like if this man is insecure and he's projecting that onto some you know, a person like Kiki who's trying to make positive progress, that pulls us back. Because now she's got to spend her energy on dealing with the internet, dealing with him, possibly dealing with brands, because Timothy's saying, you know, it's on CNN, it's, you know, it's becoming a story, it's moving, you know, and it's not like it's moving in a positive way in the sense that everybody's not having a compassionate educational conversation like we are trying to have. You know, people are looking at it as, oh, well, look what he said, and maybe he's right. And I saw a lot of people online talking about saying like, oh yeah, her outfit is revealing, or why are we supporting her women who are not dressing appropriately? And there's always this conversation about Black women and how we dress and our hair, and people just in our fucking business. God damn, it gets crazy. Excuse my language. But I don't see anybody else being policed at this level other than like in countries where the women are covered. You know what I mean? Like we are policed at such a high level. It's like, oh, you guys are twerking, you guys are doing this, you guys are doing that, you're dancing on each other. It's like it's a lot of people in Black women business. Okay, so we're just out here trying to have braids in the summertime. Maybe we're gonna have some wigs. Yes, it's gonna be some fake lashes. Some people gonna have on bonnets. Some people gonna wear makeup. Some people not. Some people gonna wear tight clothes. Some people gonna wear sundresses. Some people gonna wear underwear. Some people not. Some people gonna wear bras. Some people gonna wear Timbs with their sundresses. We gonna do what the hell we want. Stay out our business. Stay out our business. Stay out our business. Stay out our business. And also match up with somebody that you match up with. Why try to interact with a woman that you feel like you want to control or bring down? I don't know. I just think that's crazy. Does anybody have any last words on that before we go into our Black love closing prayer?
You wrapped it up perfectly, Madam Escobar.
Okay. So I always ask, usually I ask earlier, Biggie or Tupac, but we're already at the end, so we won't do that. I'll have to bring Octavia back for the Biggie or Tupac question because I feel like she is a Tupac girl. I feel like
we shall see.
Okay, I'm gonna bring her back. We're gonna get into it when she comes back. Dr. Mary, you are welcome back anytime. Anytime. And if there's anything that we could do at the adult table to help you in your city, please let us know. We are here. Please come back around midterm time so you can tell these people that we really need to vote. You can explain the history to them. Absolutely. All that stuff. We need that. So
anything you guys ever need from me, I'm always here, you guys. I'm always available. So, contact me for anything you guys need. I appreciate you.
Awesome. Yes. Hit him up. Put his deets in the chat. Okay. So before we go, I'm going to start with Timothy because his answer is always so amazing. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
In terms of what he thinks Black love is today. Thank you, Flory Hug. Standing ovation. The mods are amazing. Go ahead, Timothy. Black love.
I think Black love is Black people joining together, trying to navigate a world that is bent on destroying them, and finding the beauty and the humanity in each other and allowing each other to grow and flourish. So that could be partners, romantic, that could be parent and child, that could be friends, but it's about Black people coming together and letting them be able to mind their business. That's who Ann said earlier.
Yes. And where can everyone find you, all the viewers, everybody who's gonna review this and be like, where is Timothy? Where is he?
Timothy's
How
at
can
home
we
right
find
now.
him? You know, Timothy is a rapper. I didn't really talk about it a lot. We've spoken about it before.
Mhm.
Timothy is a whole rapper out here. He
I mean,
has a whole album. So talk to the people. How can they find the music? How can they
Oh,
find
sure.
you?
So I have a website, timothywelbeck.com, 1L. Everything I do is there. So my scholarship, my legal practice, my music, all of that's there. I'm on social media, mainly Twitter and Instagram, Timothy Welbeck, just at Timothy Welbeck. You can find my music anywhere that you stream music, just Timothy Welbeck. Got a few albums out, all of that good stuff.
We love it. Are you going on Threads? Because I just downloaded Spill, the Black
I
people
did
Twitter.
too.
I
I'm
got
still.
caught up in it. I was like, you know what? Let me go to this new restaurant, this new Black-owned restaurant. I'm gonna hit Spill up. I'm gonna see what's good. So I'm a spiller. I've spilled tea on Spill. I opened my thread, but I haven't gone into it yet to really see. But you know, I mean, listen, trying to navigate another set of social media over 30. Okay, so I was here for Oregon Trail. I don't know how
Me
many
too.
of
Come on.
y'all.
Yes.
Okay, so if you was here you made it through Oregon Trail when we had to put
Yes.
forward slash and all this stuff just to play our little games or whatever. We old, Octavia. Okay, we're old. And you went through Black Planet.
I did. I was on Black Planet too. I sure was.
Then another social media to learn at our big age
Our big
is a lot
age.
to expect. It's a lot to expect. I'm gonna do my best, okay? Because I want us to have not just crazy stuff on these other platforms. You know, we need to have positive things as well. We need to have uplifting things as well. We need to have in-depth conversations. We need to have logic inserted in the madness. So I'm gonna do my best to get on other platforms and see, you know, what's going on. I'm gonna do my best. But I appreciate you, Timothy, as always. As you know, love your response for what is Black love. And I will ask Octavia, what's your definition of Black love? And then let people know where to find you. This is our final question. And then at the end, we'll do the adult table prayer and then we'll sign out. I appreciate everyone who's given super chats. Amazing. Thank you. And thank you to everybody in the kingdom. Octavia.
Okay. What is Black love? For a little context, my family that raised me is from Panama. So the experience of a Afro Latinx person coming to America is different than a Black person in America, which obviously all of you know. But I will say that what Black love is to me is love. I think when I got more Black American community, Black Southern community, I started to understand what leadership and love was. It was a totally different thing than what I experienced in New York City, where I was born and raised. So for me, Black love is love. It's culture, it's growth, it's energy, it's spirit. It's I think I said culture already. It's beautiful. Where you can find my book is octaviayearwood.com. You can actually add my Spotify. I have an album on there as well called Light Interludes. It's a queer mixtape with all women, POC queer folks making music in my crib like Missy and Timbaland. It was fun. So you can find that on my name, octaviayearwood.com is where you can find my book. And also coaching opportunities. I definitely have to have me back because I got more things. I don't really.
Yes, we have so.
I be in a bubble. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I'll be in my creative bubble. I don't really be doing what the world like all the hot topics too much. I peek in and I go back into my home.
Right.
And so, but yeah,
you're supposed to reflect the times. You're supposed to reflect the times.
Thank you.
So you are welcome back absolutely anytime. I adore you. I'm gonna adopt you. You're stuck with me, so
go.
that's just how it is.
Now all you gotta do is get this book, okay? And
Yes, I'm coming to get my book. Don't worry about it. I'm coming. I'm on my way.
Best author
Anthony,
by the Miami New Times.
yes. And so please, everybody support Octavia, follow Octavia. We need the arts. We need it. We need it. And we need people that are willing to, make the sacrifices and do their thing in their lane to help us to push forward the most important work of our time, which is Black liberation. So, which comes from Black love. So I appreciate you, Octavia.
Right.
Very
That's right. Black people need more rest. This country was built on rest. And you see what they did?
That part. Built on rest. If we got some rest, what could we do as a people?
Mm-hmm.
So, Anthony,
So,
how are you? How's your summer? How are you feeling? It's 1 year since we took the plunge and participated in Ready to Love. And the new season in Dallas is airing in 2 days or tomorrow.
Tomorrow, actually.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
how are
yeah.
you feeling? Are you resting?
No, lots of work this summer, lots of traveling this summer. I can't believe a year's gone by already. It seems like yesterday.
So
But it was a good experience, forward progress in life. That's it. That's it.
I love it. As you know, I adore you. You're stuck with me.
Of course.
It is what it
Definitely.
is.
So, Black love.
Black love. Yeah.
I would just have to say it's more of a balance, sharing, yielding spaces, learning to grow, learn, change, figure it out, navigate through life together.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty
Where
much
can
so.
we find you, Anthony?
I am _ Anthony Martin NP on Instagram and everywhere
So
else.
can we get medical services from you, or do we have to be in an ER or what?
No. Yes, you can. If you go to my Instagram, there's a link. It'll take you to my website, and you can go from there and get medical services from me.
Okay, I'm gonna go check that link out. People always say, "Oh, I want you to represent me." I would like medical services. I want my medical professional to be Black. As we could talk about Black maternal health another night, but it is important to have Black medical professionals. So I appreciate you very much
You're welcome.
in every way, as you know. Queen Sheba brought the kingdom in the building. That's my Sarah.
Yes.
We
I'm gonna have
moved
to
it.
double down on what Octavia said. She said Black people need to rest. Love is resting. Love is being kind to yourself. It's a form of warfare, believe it or not. When you really dig deep, it's a form of balance. Love is peace. Love is being kind to yourself. Love is to thine own self be true, right? Love is cultivating community. Everything that Octavia said. Love is also love is conquering. So you have to be strong, right? In some sense, but you also have to be gentle yet sharp. Love is forever lasting. Love is giving. So if you're walking away with something that we gave you tonight, that's love. You showing up today to support us, to hear us, hanging in there until whatever time, that's love. Us pouring out into you, that's love. You receiving it, that's love. It's reciprocity. It's a never stand still spot. Love is just everything. Love is being, flaws and all. So that's my definition of love.
We appreciate you, Queen. Like I said, our queen of keeping it real, keeping us on track, keeping us in check. So we appreciate you. And I appreciate the palace coming through to support all the moderators and you supporting me on my growing my channel and our voice on here. So I appreciate you very, very much. And you're stuck with me too, by the way.
Absolutely. That's love. That's a sisterhood. That's love, right? All of that good stuff. And then you come into my channel and giving me what I needed to amp that case up. You see what I'm saying? It's reciprocity. It's not one way.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely. I know the palace knows where to find you, but you can still tell them, let them know when next to be available for the gems.
So you can always find me on YouTube at Queen Sheba Darling, Sheba with an I, not an E. and also on Instagram, Queen Sheba Darling. So Instagram platform as well as YouTube.
Okay, we love it. Thank you. Reverend Dr. Mayer. I just threw in the
Reverend.
I feel like you was preaching tonight. You was preaching tonight.
Hey, let me just say, man, like I'm really honored to be here with all of you all. You all have a wonderful thing going here, and I'm really just honored to be here. I really do appreciate it to all of you guys. Thank you very much. Love, Black love. Okay, so I think that we were talking tonight about relationships, you know, for a large part. So I think there's two things right there. So there's understanding and there's communication. So that's the first thing. And I think with that understanding and communication, I think we could find Black love by really putting ourselves in the other person's shoes. Because I think a lot of times when it comes to relationships, and this is just like overall, I think that like men want women to act the way they expect them to act according to what they want. You know what I mean? But like women have a different reality that and different needs and different wants. So I think it really needs to be a lot of communication with like, it's kind of like if you go to the store and you tell this and you tell the store what they should be saying, what they should be selling you. Like you go to a grocery store and you're telling the grocery store, well, why don't you got damn soccer balls? And the grocery store's like, well, we're a grocery store. What are you talking about? What goddamn, where are the Toyota cars? You see what I mean? So it's like, it's not what you want. You have to balance that. What do I want? What do I need? But what is the reality of the woman that I'm looking after, that I'm wanting, that I want to take care of, that I want to be in love with?
Actually to call you.
Right? What are her needs? What are her wants? And let me try to balance those two things. Let me not try to give myself away totally as far as like giving up what I believe in, what I want, what I need. But can I try to balance that? Can we like, you know, can we find that scale and try to balance that with what she wants and she needs? And you can only do that by communication. You can only do that by talking to the person and being like, okay, so when I said this, you got upset. What was it about it that made you upset? Because as a man, I might be looking at it from a totally different way than she's looking at it. So understanding, communication, Madam Esquire, I love all of you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay, and so we can find you down in El Portal.
Yes, Mayor Nickerson on Instagram. It's a new account. I appreciate it, Mayor Nickerson. Thank you.
Okay, run him up because you know we might need him to be governor one day because Florida is going through it. We're going through it. I just want to again thank all my panelists. Let's quickly do the adult table prayer so we can get the heck out of here. I appreciate you guys for hanging in there, and I can't wait to see you. Not next Thursday. Next Thursday. We'll be right here, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the adult table. Appreciate all my guests. Appreciate everyone. Appreciate all the moms. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate Andre behind the scenes who is keeping it going and doing what he needs to do. Okay, adult table prayer. All right, here we go. Anyone who is with bad, low vibrations, keep away from me. Amen. That's it. Okay, you guys. Have the evening, the day, the rest of the week, the weekend that you deserve.
I'll take care. It's always a pleasure.
Take care.
Guys.
Love you guys.
So great to meet y'all.
I'm there.